it's Carrie here and welcome to another weekly dose of inspiration to build a successful business. So today I have a challenge for you, and the challenge is this. Today I want you to do something that scares you. So have a think about it and think, is there anything that you've been wanting to do lately that you have just been putting off and off and off? Maybe there's something that you've been working on where you just think, I'm not quite ready yet, I'm not ready, which is actually code for I am shitting my pants. Or maybe it's that there's a call that you need to make, or maybe there's an email that you want to send and you've just been putting it off. Maybe you've got a podcast show that you really want to launch but you just haven't launched it yet. Or maybe you've created like a free opt-in or something that's just sat there waiting to go out to the world, but on the inside you are freaking out and it's stopping you and holding you back. Or maybe it's something really, really small. The thing is, being scared is one of the biggest things that holds people back. I know that along my entrepreneurial journey, my fears and the things I'm scared of have been the biggest thing that have slowed me down. And the thing is, they don't go away. The further along the journey I've got, my fears are still there. They are still there, slowing me down, holding me back and stopping me from making the progress that I want to make, which is so frustrating. And I think sometimes the worst part is that we don't even realise that we have some of the fears that we actually have. So recently I discovered that I have a pretty massive fear of what people think about me. And I know this is fairly common and a lot of people have this fear of what other people think, but I genuinely didn't think that this is something that ever affected me or held me back. And it was funny because when I actually told people in my family that I just discovered that I realised I had this big issue with what people thought about me or the things I did, they were like, really? You've only just realised that you've had this fear? We knew this for ages. But I genuinely didn't realise that it held me back. And what happened was someone emailed me and they said, it would be really nice to see a picture of you as the profile picture for the Female Entrepreneur Association's fan page because people really like to connect with you. And as I read those words, something inside of me started to freak out and I started to think, why on earth would anyone want to see a picture of me? It's not about me. What would people think? People would think it's ridiculous. Oh my gosh, I cannot do this. And as all these thoughts were whizzing through my head, I just thought, oh my gosh, Carrie, stop for a second. What are you thinking? Like, what is going on? And I realised for the first time that I had such a big fear of what other people thought of me and the things that I did. And as I sat there thinking about this fear, I started to think about how much it had impacted me throughout the years without me even knowing it. And it just made me realise that sometimes you can have a fear of something and not even realise it's there, not even realise it's stopping you and holding you back. And the biggest problem with that is that you can't do something about it. So that made me think, oh my gosh, I was like, I need to sit down and work out what my other fears are or what else might be going on in my head and get to the bottom of it all. So I literally sat down with a pen and a piece of paper and started writing about how I felt, about fears, and tried to get to the bottom of it, tried to get to what was the real problem. And I discovered that I have two top fears. And the first one is that I'm afraid to mess up. I'm afraid that things are going to go wrong and that I'm going to fail. And I look back to the things that I've done and think about how long it's taken me and why it took me so long. And the biggest reason was because I was so afraid to make a mistake. I was so afraid to mess up. Even something as simple as the membership group. It was an idea that I'd had for such a long time, but I had this fear of everything going wrong and it took me so much longer to make it happen. And I was like, why? What is this fear really about? And then I realised it's because I'm actually scared about what everyone else is going to think. What is everyone else going to think if this goes horribly wrong, if I fail? And the second thing I realised I was scared of is I was scared to share my successes and my achievements with other people and tell other people about it. And I was like, well, why is this? Why does it make me feel so uncomfortable? And I thought it's because I'm embarrassed. And then I was like, but why am I embarrassed to share this stuff? So then I realised I was embarrassed to share it because I didn't want people to think I was a show-off. So really at the heart of the problem was my fear of what other people are going to think of me. So basically I went through all of these fears and I realised that apart from my fear of dying, basically everything else links back to this fear of being scared about what other people are going to think about me. And then I was like, Carrie, this is crazy. Why do you care so much about what other people think? You don't even know what other people think. If you put something out there, the chances are you are not even going to find out what everyone else thought about it. And if somebody did think it was stupid or that you're an idiot, is it really going to change your life? Is it going to affect you? And I thought, no, it's not going to affect me at all. But then on the other hand, I was like, well, how do I get over this fear that has been holding me back and stopping me and has been so ingrained in me for such a long time? And then on Facebook, I came across this post in my newsfeed, and I can't remember the exact post, but the gist of it was this. It was an article where this woman really wanted to lose weight, and she was saying that she couldn't lose weight, and she came up with all these reasons for why it wasn't possible for her to lose weight. And then this other woman turned around to her and said, one day you will decide to do it, and then you will, and you'll make it happen. And I just thought, oh my goodness, this is my answer. Even though I have these fears, I need to have the courage and make the decision to not let it stop me. And I think that's the key, because none of us can ever really get rid of our fears. They're always going to be there. I've been running a business for over 10 years and there's still all these fears that crop up all the time and hold me back. And I think, you know, some might go, but then you get new ones, and some might never go. And that's fine. I think fear is human instinct. But it's about having the courage to make the decision to not let it stop you, to be like, okay, hello fear, I know you're there, but I'm going to do it anyway, thank you very much. And when I realised that, it was like, oh yeah, so I just need to start making the decision more to do it, to actually face up to my fears and to be consciously aware of them, and then just get on and do it anyway, because really the worst that it's not about what's going to happen, it's the fear of what is going to happen, the fear that it might happen. I'm sure if it actually happened, it wouldn't actually be scary at all. So it's about making that decision to yourself that you're not going to let it hold you back and stop you, which is why today I wanted to get everybody to take this challenge and make the decision to do something today that scares you, and take some time to think about what does actually scare you. And if you're like me, where you think you have a few fears but you're not really sure what's really going on, seriously, take some time to get a pen and a piece of paper and write down anything that you're feeling and trying to get to the bottom of your fears to find out what is that real motivator that holds you back and stops you and like makes you feel panicky. So today I want everyone to then come up with this thing that scares them, to just do one thing that scares you, big or small. The thing that I'm going to do, which people might be like, that's the weirdest, craziest thing in the world, is I am going to update the profile picture on the fan page of the Female Entrepreneur Association to a picture of me, which makes me feel so uncomfortable, but I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm going to get over it, because what is the big deal? And I know that people think that that's probably the stupidest thing they've ever heard, but in my head, it's a big deal. So think of something, whether it's a really big thing or a really small thing, and just make the decision to do it. And I think if we all do it together, it will be far less scary anyway, and we can share our own experiences. But I would absolutely love to know what you think about this. What is the one thing that you're going to do today that scares you? Leave a comment below, and I will see you next week for another dose of inspiration.